Hi, it's Panda Movies here. Today I'm going to explain the horror movie called When a Stranger Calls. Warning, there are spoilers ahead. Enjoy the video. The movie started with a horrifying phone call between a girl and a strange man, followed by horrifying sounds of people getting murdered. Later that morning, the sheriff of the town went to the crime scene and was shocked to discover that 3 children and their babysitter had been brutally murdered by an intruder without any traces of a murder weapon when he entered the bedroom. In the present, Jill Johnson, a 16-year-old high school student, resides in Colorado with her family. After training, she confronted her ex-boyfriend about the kiss between him and her best friend, but the ex kept denying the allegations. During art class, she was talking to her other best friend about how she had been grounded for going over her minutes and had to work as a babysitter later that night to pay for them. Her dad was driving her to the house where she will babysit, telling her that her phone and car will be confiscated for a while. When they arrived, they were shocked to see a big mansion isolated in the middle of nowhere. When Jill arrived, Mrs. Mandrakis, the mother, greeted and welcomed her. She then gave her a tour of the house and told Jill to make herself comfortable before giving her a list of emergency numbers. Moments later, Mr. Mandrakis went down to prepare to leave. Jill also learned that Mr. Mandrakis has a son in college living in a house near the mansion. Before they left, Miss Mandrakis told Jill where the children's rooms are and the system code of the house. Jill was snooping around the owner's bedroom and ran out quickly when she heard a loud thud outside. Then, the thudding continued, and we found out that it was just Rosa, the maid, feeding the owner's pet birds. When she went back, the phone suddenly rang, and when she answered it, all she heard were deep breathing sounds, and it hung up all of a sudden. She then called her best friend on the phone. When the alarm suddenly went off, Jill quickly turned it off with the password. She received a phone call from the alarm system company about the sudden alarm, but she told them that everything was okay. Moments later, Mrs. Mandrakis called to ask for updates on the house and the children. When she hung up, she looked for Rosa in the garden, but she was nowhere to be found. Later, Mr. Mandrakis called, but the call was cut very abruptly mid-conversation. Jill then received a prank call from Bobby, pissing her off. She felt that something was off, so she armed herself with a mini shovel and looked around the house. She entered the kitchen to look for intruders, but there was no one there, so she just went back. When she went back, she saw her friend Tiffany in the living room, who had happened to enter the house through the opened garage door. Jill requests that she leave because she doesn't want to cause any more trouble. Tiffany is ambushed by an unforeseen intruder as she makes her way back to her car. Jill asked Bobby if he had called her multiple times, but he said that he hadn't and that the prank call was the only time he called her. She then asked her other friend if she was responsible for the multiple calls, but the friend denied it too. Jill then got another phone call from someone whom she initially thought was Tiffany, but a man's voice was heard on the other end of the line. Out of panic, she left her dad a voicemail along with Mr. and Mrs. Mandrakis. Jill then noticed that Rosa's car was still in the driveway, but when she tried calling it, she found it in her room, along with her belongings. The man later called again and told her to check the children, but when Jill went up to the kids' room, they were sleeping peacefully. She was shocked when the man called again to ask her how the kids were, so she quickly closed all the curtains and dialed the police again. When she called the police, they informed her that if she could keep the caller on the line for at least 60 seconds, they could track the calls. Jill then observed a shadow moving in the guest house as she waited for the phone to ring and when she opened the curtain. She grabbed a weapon and a flashlight and ran to the guest house to investigate, thinking it was the Mandrakis' son, Todd. But she discovered the guest house was empty when she arrived. When the phone rings while the caller is inside the guest house, they are the same. This only confirms her worry that he is keeping an eye on her. She keeps him on the line so that the call can be tracked, only for her to realize that he called the incorrect line. Jill looked for Rosa when she arrived back at the house, but she was nowhere to be seen. After a few attempts, Jill was able to keep the caller on the line for a minute as he was silent on the other end. While Jill was on the phone with the man, she heard the shower running in the maid's room. But upon checking, she discovered that it was empty. The police then informed her that the calls were coming from inside the house, making Jill very horrified. Jill found Tiffany's body on the bathroom floor and ran away in fear. Jill then went to the kids, who were already hiding in their playroom inside a chest. She managed to exit the house with the children, but the intruder was able to catch up, so she went under the bridge to hide. When she raises her head, she notices Tommy Flanagan, the trespasser, in the loft. Rosa's lifeless body is found by Jill under the water, but Jill was able to lock him inside the greenhouse. Jill tried finding the kids when they ran away in fear when the intruder found them. Jill was attacked by the intruder, but she was able to outsmart him by turning on the fireplace when he stood in front of it and using a fireplace poker to stab the attacker's hand into the floor. Moments later, the police arrived. The movie ended with Jill in the hospital and suffering from PTSD.